He's a jerk, but
Oliver
he's an
Stone.
amazing actor. I mean, he really is. He wins no popularity contest, but he is an
Excuse me.
amazing actor. Well, Tom, you couldn't have picked a harder role, I think, and done a better job.
Thank you.
Was this one an easy one to cut off at the end of a day?
Well, they never are, but this one particularly was it was a bit of a barn burner. I was on a constant physical regimen that required every day had about 2 hours added onto it as far as my responsibilities to the character were concerned. But also, I think my involvement on this really lasted for the better part of 6 or 7 months. And in the building up of all the little details that go into the actual work, I think every day produced 3 or 4 tiny things that were added into the mix. And you have to be open and you have to be kind of searching those things out so that they come when they do. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, I found myself in what would be pretty normal circumstances, being a husband and a father, but the duties just they kept on coming.
In the traditional sense, I don't think you're really a method actor. But this is kind of a crazy question, but you were doing such a convincing job. Did you ever think you were going to die?
There was, no. I mean,
Even for how you can just get flashes of things when you're doing something so serious?
There were times where I experienced stuff that I had never experienced before. Sometimes it was looking at myself, and sometimes it was looking at others. There was it's hard to describe, but there is kind of mindset that goes back to my saying you have to be open in order to consider an awful lot of stuff. It's not unlike, when you haven't been to a museum for a while and you haven't experienced, pieces of sculpture or art, and you don't know what it is you're looking at particularly, you don't know who the artist is, you don't know why it's so effective and as moving as it is. But that's the way I felt sometimes. There could be just a visual scenario out of the day, or a few words that I had with somebody that made you think about the grand mortal questions, and then specifically the grandest of all mortal questions about, what's it going to be like when my time comes? That's heady stuff, I know, but it kind of goes part and parcel with what we were shooting for.
When people have seen you this year earlier, in fact, I just saw you on the airplane the other day in Sleepless in Seattle, and a lot of people want to see Tom Hanks as this light character, and I know, and you do that so well, and I know you've wanted to grow. What do you say to your fans who would rather see you in those things, and they may be shocked to see you in something so serious?
Well, I think that people like good movies. I don't think that they really, it doesn't matter if it's a quote-unquote light comedy or a light drama or a heavy action movie. I don't think that really matters. And likewise, I think as far as my performances go and my kind of artistic cachet goes, I think I bring the same thing to everything. I try to shoot for the degree of truth that goes along with the character's predicament. And sometimes it's heavy, and sometimes it's light, but sometimes it's a burden, and sometimes it's not. But I just think of the three characters that I played. The guy and the baseball player in League of Their Own had a huge burden on him because he was no longer able to play a game that he loved. Sleepless in Seattle, the character was, he was mourning the loss of the only woman that he ever loved. And in Philadelphia, he's fighting, not only is he fighting an injustice, but he's literally fighting, what his own body is doing to him. So I always try to root it in something that is not light, or something that is not, something that's easy to pass over. And out of that comes, whatever is expected of me. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Has Tom gotten chapped at all by any of the crazy questions you've gotten at this early point in the stage of promoting this film? Anything you felt like you've had to be defensive about, or things that are just irritating you, or misconceptions?
No, although, no, there was one, excuse me, somebody asked me how, somebody asked me the age-old question of how do you handle the fame and the success? It's like, I don't know. Geez, I've been a celebrity now for far too long, I don't, I don't even think about it anymore, I guess. But that's a small thing to complain about. But
Yeah, it's just such a politically charged subject matter. I mean, the whole AIDS
yeah.
issue is not something that we as a group as the world, I guess, look at like we look at polio or we look at like we do anything else.
I think that I think everybody has made up their minds in a lot of ways. I think that there has been a knee-jerk reaction to what they think about it. And when you do that, and when that happens, and when it happens relatively quickly, I think what is lost is the human factor. I mean, you know, we're talking about our own babies here. Really, is what we are. And how can that be so black and white? I don't understand that. That's not what America is supposed to be about, and yet here we are.
You've had a great 1993. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This